Overall, I thought that Optimus's combined modes were cool. The character development, the only character that I felt that really developed was Hotshot. It was like that was the only one they focused on. I liked Starscream in this one, because Starscream goes through a lot of inner turmoil about whether at first he leaves the Decepticons just because they're mistreating him, and Megatron ridicules him every chance he gets. He leaves and he goes and joins up with the Autobots for a chance to destroy Megatron. And while he's there, he sees the way that Optimus treats his troops and the way that things work with the Autobots. And it really changes Starscream. And so, okay, Starscream also had some character development. And he comes back, Thrust convinces him to come back to the Decepticons so that he can join in on his plot to destroy Megatron, which is kind of lame, but Starscream just all of a sudden leaves the Autobots, goes back to the Decepticons, and he's always, you can just tell that he's been changed by all the time around the Autobots, like he had a change of spark. He just kind of went from being this jackass who did everything Megatron, he was Megatron's lapdog pretty much, to this person, like he went and started thinking for himself and thinking that maybe the way Megatron was doing things wasn't the way that things should be done. Optimus is trying to convince Megatron to join with him to fight Unicron before Unicron showed up, and Starscream ends up being the one that convinces Megatron. He gets in a fight with Megatron and Galvatron. I'm sorry, God, I forgot. I gotta call him Galvatron. He's freaking Megatron. There was no difference. He just, all of a sudden, the Minicons repainted him, and he was like, I'm Galvatron! And I hated that. God, that irritated me. I was very disappointed in that. But Starscream changes. He actually tries to keep Megatron from destroying Prime with the Hydra Cannon. And there was a few episodes that I skipped through also. So whenever Prime was destroyed, I skipped through towards his resurrection. I just was like, okay, this is important, and I'll skip until something else happens. Because there's a lot of just standing around going, oh, Optimus is dead, what are we going to do? But it was cool that Hotshot was in command. I have a lot more respect for that bot now. But Starscream, back on the point of him, he gets in a fight with Megatron and convinces Megatron to join up with the Autobots to combat Unicron. And Megatron in this one, I didn't have a lot of respect for him. He was a terrible leader. He, nothing like the Beast Wars Megatron. Oh my God, Beast Wars Megatron was awesome. He was an excellent evil character. This Megatron, he's just a bully. He likes to push his men around. He tells them, you know, what to do, where to go, and if something goes wrong, doesn't matter whose fault it is, he usually blames Starscream or just somebody else, and a lot of times it's his own fault because he has hardly any leadership skills whatsoever. Thrust actually brings that up whenever he first comes in, that he'll help him strategize and things like that, and he sort of does, but he sort of doesn't. I mean, Megatron's extremely flawed in the fact that he thinks he's the supreme being and nothing can change that, and he has no respect for his men. And Starscream sees that, you know. Optimus Prime treats his men as equals. He makes them work as a team. Megatron does not do that at all. He's like, do what I say or I'll destroy you. And that was kind of pathetic. But what are you going to do? And I don't think I really have much more to say about Armada. I thought it was cool that Rhinox made a cameo appearance. That was really neat. A lot of other neat things about it. I mean, like I said, I thought it was so cool that the Decepticons were always kicking the Autobots' butt. There was all the time, like, they were like, we gotta go get the Minicon, and the Decepticons would come in, beat the crap out of them, take the Minicon. Another thing that bothered me, the power levels of them seem to fluctuate depending on the episode. Whenever Jetfire comes and Optimus and Jetfire power link, that's as good as it gets right there. Optimus and Jetfire power linked, strongest bot. He just starts kicking ass and taking names. The very next episode, I believe it is where Tidal Wave comes in. And this is why Megatron's a bad leader. Because Tidal Wave comes in, and nobody can hurt Tidal Wave. Nobody can stop him. He's just so badass. The only way they can beat Tidal Wave is by getting the Requiem Blaster, which they get the Requiem Blaster and win. But then Megatron gets all three weapons. He ends up with the Requiem Blaster, period, and that's all he needs. At one point, it's Starscream leaves, and he takes the Star Saber with him. But Megatron's still got the Sky Boom Shield and the Requiem Blaster. And Megatron just sits around. He doesn't mount an assault. And Megatron could have won right there if he would have just been like, alright, men, let's go. Because Tidal Wave was unstoppable. Except later on, Tidal Wave's not. And that irritated me. The last few episodes, it seems like they just slapped them all together. But later on, Tidal Wave's not so unstoppable. But at first, Tidal Wave's just kicking ass. Nobody can take Tidal Wave. But whenever Megatron got the Requiem Blaster, he should have went ahead and finished off the Autobots and he would have won the war, but Megatron is flawed and he just gloated and sat around. He was like, ha, Starscream's gone. He's a punk and I am the strongest bot in the universe. Which obviously he's not because he dies at the end. Oh, spoiler! Megatron dies, but he comes back in Energon. It just seemed to me, like I said, their power levels will fluctuate, and anytime that Tidal Wave's around, he's just Godbot, and nothing can stop him. Until later on, and it doesn't seem like Tidal Wave matters so much anymore. And Megatron can link with Tidal Wave, and I think the figure looks retarded. I don't have it, but I've seen it, and I think it looks so dumb whenever they're linked up together. But Megatron can link with Tidal Wave, and to me, it doesn't really help so much as it hinders them. Yeah, it makes Megatron stronger, but it makes their force as a whole weaker. Whereas, whenever Jetfire and Optimus link up, they're stronger combined than they are separate. Tidal Wave is stronger whenever he's by himself than he is combined with Megatron. And that bothered me. But if you want to watch Armada, if you're like, I am really wanting to just get all the Transformers knowledge in here that I can, because I've missed a lot. I've maybe watched one episode of Transformers Cybertron or Galaxy Force if you prefer. Energon I've watched a little bit of. Armada I've finished. Beast Wars I watched most of Beast Wars, not so much Beast Machines. And G1, God, I'm missing so many episodes of G1 that it's not even funny. So I'm trying to get them all crammed into this brain of mine and watch them all. And I'm going to do reviews on every one of them. But Armada's pretty good. Not the best Transformers show out there, as far as I can tell. Beast Wars was way better. But not the worst. That is reserved for Robots in the Skies, because it is a steaming pile of monkey crap. But watch it if you want. Don't watch it if you don't. But that's all I have to say about it.